you're over the age of 35, stop everything you're doing right now. After a lifetime of eating fatty foods, you may run the risks of a stroke or heart attack due to plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. To learn how you can reduce your risks, visit youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-7856 today. This may be a life-changing call for you or someone you love. Thank you, and we hope to hear from you.
I absolutely think people are too sensitive. And I do think, I know I've gotten flack on this one too on social media. I think by me having the job that I have, like if you work at Burger King, you're around Whoppers all day, right? It's just part of the job. I work in comedy. I get to voice my opinion and say what I think and how I feel about certain things that you might not agree with. But because I have this job, I have that right. It's like walking into a church. I say this all the time. It's like walking into a church, sitting there and saying, yo, all this dude keep talking about is the Bible, man. Well, then don't go into church.
Word.
You don't want to hear comics say something about, the world structure or world events or pop culture or relationships. Don't go in a comedy club. Don't listen to comics because we're going to say what we feel. The biggest misunderstanding with stand-up comedy is people think that comics are trying to say stuff that they think is funny. So when they disagree with it, they like, oh, well, he shouldn't be doing that. I don't think that's funny. He shouldn't be saying that. No, we don't. We say things that we think is funny.
Mm-hmm.
And if you laugh, that's agreement. If you don't laugh, you don't agree. But everything we say is what we think is funny. What we think should be addressed. What we think people should hear about. What we have an opinion on. If you don't agree, that's fine. That's absolutely fine to not agree. But we're not trying to get, you know how impossible it would be if you go on stage in front of 2,000 people to get 2,000 people to agree with everything you say?
That's a fact. It's hard enough to get 10 people to agree with what you got to say.
Right. But if I say what I think and 50% of the people agree, okay, fine.
Right. It was I forgot the lady's name, but she went in on Triple X when he passed away. And she caught a lot of slack for that. But then in the comedy world, although people may have not thought it was funny, a lot of comics agreed with her and said, no, this is comedy. You know what I mean? There is no filter. You're going to say what you got to say. Is there a line to comics? Is there a line to you? I'll just say, I'll put you out there. Or do you have a line that you draw?
For me, this is the line. You want to know what the line is for me?
Yep.
And I think this is the line for very many comics. The line is time. Time. Everything is funny if you give it enough time. I wouldn't do a 9/11 joke on 9/12.
Right.
But 3-4 years later, there's a bunch of comics with 9/11 material.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do, whatever the thing that people are the most sensitive about. That day, no, chill. It's too much. It's too much. But give it some time, because once you back up off of it and let it breathe, give it time, then people start to see aspects of it that might actually be funny if you said it the right way. That's another thing. When you're a comic, you can make anything funny, but you got to say it the right way so people understand, oh, he's approaching it comedically.
Right.
That's the big mistake a lot of comics make. They don't have a funny angle on things, so they just say it and it comes off just rude and crude and disrespectful.
Right.
Can you tell us about a situation where you had a heckler get very hostile, or a situation that got real for you, if there was one? Ever?
Oh, I got the best heckle story in the world.
All right.
There's not a comic. If you have any comics on here from today on, ask them that same question. I bet you my story tops all of this.
We have a lot, so yeah, top it. Let's go.
Okay, so it's New York City. Are you familiar with the Puerto Rican Day Parade?
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's New York City. It's Puerto Rican Day Parade weekend in New York City. So Manhattan is full of Puerto Ricans.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere you go, uptown to downtown, Puerto Ricans take over the city. That night, I have a show at the Comic Strip on 82nd and 2nd, uptown.
Okay.
Spanish Harlem right there, 10, 20 blocks away, right?
Yeah.
So the Comic Strip that night is packed, standing room only, 99.999% Puerto Ricans. I'm on the show. I'm excited. I'm like, yo, the room's packed. It's going to be rocking. It's a bunch of Puerto Rican chicks in the audience, I'm like, I'm gonna kill this, I'm gonna destroy the stage, and I'm gonna bag one of these chicks. And I get on stage, and to my right is a table. The stage is a little bit further off the wall, so there's actually tables at the side of the stage, like literally in your peripheral, like tables right there. This table to my left, full of Puerto Rican girls, just all Puerto Rican girls sitting there waiting ready for the show. To my right, all Puerto Rican dudes. And they're yelling across the stage at the girls. They're like, yo, mamita, they're talking Spanish. And the girls talking Spanish back. And I'm in the middle of my set. And the dude gets up, jumps on the stage, walks across the stage behind me, gets the girl's number, and walks back across the stage and sits down. So the whole room is like, yo, oh. Now let me stop the story for 1 second and explain something to people. Bombing is not just your material not working. That's the biggest misconception in stand-up comedy. Bombing is losing control of the room. That's what bombing is. Bombing is if you go into a comedy club, you see all the chairs are facing the stage, right? You're at an elevated position. The lights are on you. You have a microphone in your hand. There's speakers around the room. You are clearly in control of the room. And when you lose control, that's when you bomb. So when the guy walked across the stage and walked back, the room realized, yo, he's not in control of the room. Because you couldn't do that to a comic that was, you know, that was in control of the stage and in control of the room. So they start, oh, he just walked across your stage. What you gonna do? And I was new in the game. I was early. I didn't have like quick comebacks for people. So I just turned around like, yo, don't do that again, man. And he said, I had nothing. And he was like, man, shut the fuck up. You just mad because you bombing. And took the lemon wedge out his drink and threw it at me. And then the table full of Puerto Rican dudes was like, yo, what you want to do, Poppy? What you want to do? They started whistling, and dudes in the back started whistling like that. They was like doing some kind of a specific whistle, and dudes in the back started doing the same whistle. And I'm like, oh shit, it's about to pop off in here. So I was like, he said, you just mad because you bombing and some shit. And I kicked the lemon wedge off the stage and was like, I'm not bombing. Like I had nothing. And they booed the shit out of me.
Oh man.
And then I walk off stage and I'm sitting in the lobby of the comedy club, and the show, like one more comic goes on after me, show's over, and the people are walking out, and the one Puerto Rican chick I had said something to on the way in, I thought maybe I'd catch her on the way out. And I came and she was like, oh no, Poppy, no.
Did you ever get to go back and redeem yourself in that joint?
No, every time I get on stage, it's like now I'm fully prepared to handle anything that happens on stage. I never saw that guy again, but I mean, I'm prepared now.
Word.
I knew that night taught me that I have to be prepared to handle any and everything that can happen in a room at any time.